Hey there, guys. Welcome. You're at the Thrifty Journal Shop. My name's Amber. If you are new to my channel, hello. I'm so happy you stopped in today. And for all of you awesome people that keep coming back, I so appreciate you guys. All right. So today I've been fiending, guys, I've been fiending to make another trashy art journal. I've been missing it. So I started on the cover. I'll walk you through what I've done so far. If you are new to my channel, this is but the third trash journal that I've made on my YouTube channel. So I have separate playlists for all of them. I started a playlist for this one. So if you're interested in any of those, just check out my playlist. This one, I did do some sewing here. The last one I made was all sew free. I didn't do any sewing besides sewing in the signatures. And that one, I showed you how I sew in the signatures. This one, I'm going to jazz up the cover a little bit. I'm going to take you along with the process and all of that. So this was actually some packaging from a heated wrap that Jeff got me for Valentine's Day, and I absolutely love this. My craft area, I call it my shop. My shop is out in my garage. It's not heated. I heat it with electric heaters and propane heaters, and it does get nice and toasty. But this was really nice to use, especially if I was sewing and I just wanted some extra warmth. So I decided that this packaging made an awesome cover. I liked how it was, it's longer. I did cut this off a little bit and I'm going to use this somewhere in the journal. But I liked how it already had a spine. And this is a pretty large spine. I'd say that's 3 inches plus. So the only thing that I've done so far here is I cut down a paper sack and I just reinforced the spine here. I just sewed around it. I might cover this with fabric, but I just wanted to give the spine a little bit more structure. And then I added to the packaging. So this is a paper sack and I had some flannel shirts. This is a bummer because I really liked these flannel shirts, but I don't know. I have a hard time. I am not petite. I'm 5'9", and I always have a hard time with sleeves on shirts. They're always too short for me. I have really long arms, I guess, and women's shirts are always way too short. I end up usually getting men's like flannels or long sleeve shirts. But anyways, these flannels, they came kind of short, and then I always wash stuff cold and I hung them, and still now they're like 3/4 length. I can't stand it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to use these. I'm going to cut them up instead of donating them, and I will use the fabric somehow. So that's all I did was I just attached it around the paper sack to extend the cover, and here we are. Okay. So now I'm thinking I want to do something else. Now, in total trash journal fashion, I could just leave this as is, right? And just go with it. I like to take things and just sort of see where it takes me. And I love to paint. And like I said, my trashy journals or junk journals are more art styley journals. And so I thought I would just take some gesso. I am almost out of it and cover this. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to paint it or if I'm going to attach some of my fodder. So let's just see where it takes us. I've got some stuff set aside. I think this is from Maddie that she sent me with my happy mail and things. And I know I want some kind of closure on this. Now, this looks really fancy and pretty, but that's okay. We can use whatever we want, right? I also thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to attach the handles on here. I've done that before, made a journal from a paper sack and kept the handles on. I'm not sure. That's what's nice about this is I'm going to go with it. I already have my signatures all picked out, and I will show you what I'm going to add to this. I've already gathered them and folded them and all of that. Yeah, we'll see if we've got enough gesso here. I'm just going to blot it on here. And it's all right if I get some on the flannel. I love these style of journals, just creating from your recycled materials, your trash, your scraps, your own artwork. It's just a lot of fun. And I'm just putting this gesso down just to get rid of the color here, because if I decide that I'm going to paint over it, the gesso is always nice to just use as a base. It covers it pretty well and you don't have to use lots of coats of paint. I've discovered that this is my favorite type of journal to make. I love creating from my scraps and my recycled materials. I like turning it into sort of a work of art, an art style journal. And I really missed having one here. I haven't had one in a little bit. And I realized how much daily journaling I was doing in my trash journal. And I've been wanting to do some memory keeping and things like that. And I really like to add it in here. Okay, so I am going to let this dry. And then I've got some ideas of what I think I'm going to do with the cover. Okay, I emptied the rest of my gesso out on here. I'm going to do another coat just to cover up more of the packaging. And then I have some of this, this tempera paint, white. It's from the Dollar General. We'll see how this goes over. This is my first time using the white. I use the Dollar General just because I have one right in my town versus going 45 minutes to Hobby Lobby. And you can get these bigger bottles of paint. They're 16 ounces, which is nice. I think this was $5. Oh, I like it. It's covering the packaging. Making a mess a little bit. That's all right. And the reason why I'm covering it more with white is because I think I'm actually going to draw on this and then paint over it. If you guys haven't seen my video of my sketchbook that I made using an old cookbook, I will link it down below where I drew the bear and then painted. I had someone ask me if I would show how I painted the bear, and I said sure. And so I'm thinking I might paint a bear on this. We'll see. I'm going to paint something. But I've been using that sketchbook a lot. I took that when I went to Florida and I loved it. It was really cool to have just a little journal. I brought a few of my markers and I had some place to play in. Okay, so now I did do a little blotch in here with this little spongy thing. I do like the look of that. And that should be good with the white paint. Just get the edges off of that. All right, I am going to use my drying tool off camera. We'll let this dry. Okay, everything is dry, and I think I'm going to draw a cat and do some flowers on the cover. This is my sketchbook that I was talking about, that I took a old cookbook that I had pulled some papers out of and was using this for journals, and I just have been sketching in it. So I've been working on some ideas for some smaller paintings that I might offer. I don't know. I'm throwing around some ideas. I'm trying to work on this children's book ideas, and then I'm working on doing some cats and doing some bears. So I've been playing around with just having different cats, sort of the same, this style of cat with different things on their head. So here's a little mouse. So this was me playing in Florida. I brought this along with me with some markers. And then here's one of my blobby birds. I just love these cats. They're really simple to make. So I thought I would do one on the cover here and then just maybe doodle and add some flowers. I will do a bear cover and show you how I painted this bear at some point. So um, I know who you are. I don't want to say your name because I don't know if you want me to say your name, but I will definitely do that for you. So I don't know when, but I will. So I've got some paints already out. So I did get some paint on this flannel, but that's okay because I might just take my sponge and blot some paint over the flannel also. I'm going to lay this out. I'm not going to use my pencil. I am going to free flow, and I actually might draw some of the cat's face on the flannel. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I've never drawn on flannel or painted. And because I'm not using a pencil, I've been trying to sketch more with either just using my pencil but not really erasing it, just sort of going with it, which has been a really fun practice. Or I've been sketching with a Sharpie marker. I'm going to do a whimsical cat face. Everything I do is sort of whimsical and wonky. I might do pink and brown. I'm not quite sure. All right. If I really am not happy with it, I can always paint over it, but I'm learning to just go with things and work with what I put down. His ear might be a little bit on the spine, but that's okay, right? Okay. Yeah, let's see what happens when we paint on flannel. This is a trash journal, trashy art journal, and it's all about play and having fun. This is little body. Okay. And I want his face. I need another circle here. I need this to be a little bit bigger because otherwise I was going to put his eyes in there and that's not going to work. So this is where I correct it, I guess is the word. And I am just going to make his center of his face brown. He's going to be brown and orange, and maybe we'll add some pink to his ears. I'm going to use my sponge here because I like that look better than the brush look. Well, we're going to have to let that part dry before I do all the black for his eyes and his nose. So let's like fill his body in. I've got some different pinks here. Let's make the inside of his ears this color pink. We'll do a little blotting here. And we'll blot over here on the flannel. Well, how fun is this? Like we can paint on flannel. Might just have to go over the flannel a little bit more. So much fun to play around with things you have and paint on recycled boxes. I love it. Finding out what works. Some of the paint I'm using is this tempera paint I got at Hobby Lobby for $4.99. I really like it. Whoops. Oh, kind of made his ear a little crazy there. Just fix it a little bit.
All right, let's do some doodling here and play around with the markers and see how they do. I didn't think about his face being dark here and then trying to make black eyes, so I think I might just make some white eyes. We'll see what happens here. Let's try the Posca pen before I pull out all my paints because I put them away. Oh, these markers are actually working really well over this. I love the gold too. Oops. A little red paint left on my palette for his tongue here. Might have to add the bumblebee there. Why not? I think we're going to have to glue him on. And I might add more to this. All right, let's glue the bumblebee on. And I'm just going to use some Mod Podge. Okay.
See how that holds up on the flannel? I don't know if it will hold up. If not, I'll add some tacky glue. I do have a glue gun that I can get out also. That should hold up. Wow, that is just pretty wild and colorful there. Let's see what his nose will do if I make his nose black a little bit in the inside there. Let's see if that, let's see what happens. Add a little polka dots. Okay, guys, I am back. The only thing I did off camera was I did a little bit of touching up just with my acrylic paint pens. I just used the brush here, went around this a little bit just to fill in some of the white. I did not seal this. In the past, I used some Mod Podge and I had some feedback from you guys, and I totally get it because I can see how the Mod Podge would be tacky or sticky in a humid climate. I did take my other art journal that I made. If you haven't seen that video, I've mentioned it, where I did this one on camera, but I have my bare one. I did take that to Florida in 90 degrees and it seemed to, uphold really well. It didn't get tacky or sticky. For personal use, I can use the Mod Podge, but if I decide to put some sort of art journals up in my shop or whatnot, I will definitely use the Liquitex varnish, and I'm going to order that because I need to order some more gesso and some turbo tacky glue also. So right now I haven't sealed it, but that's okay. It should be just fine. The bee seems to be holding up just fine too with the Mod Podge. I really love how that turned out. It's so colorful and fun. His ear bends a little bit there on the spine, but that's cool. That's all right. I love this spine here. And then I added some little ties. I had this off of some kind of Happy Mail. We'll see how it holds up. But I just punched a hole here with my crocodile, and I added a little eyelet here, and I just added some of my acrylic paper beads and then just some Dollar Tree beads. And so I've got this little tie here. I've never really added a tie. I think I've added maybe one tie to one of my journals. So I'm just kind of playing around with different ideas. So I've got a little closure here if I decide I want to tie a bow. All right, now we're going to work on the inside. I decided I'm not going to paint here. I'm just going to glue some of my scraps. So the only thing I did off camera for the inside was I had this really cool packaging from some goat cheese that I really thought was really good. And I thought it was so cute with the goat, and it's clear. So I just took my glue. I didn't sew it. I did sew this fabric and I just glued it down. So now I've got a pocket there. Then I just glued this pocket down. This was some paper sack I had down just as a backdrop when I was painting papers. And then I just sewed this fabric. But I did just use my tacky glue and glued it down. I don't think I'm going to do anything to the spine because the spine is going to be covered anyway. But I've got some scraps here, and so I thought I would just fill in this white space. Here's just some doodle ladies that I was on the phone. I've always been a doodler, so I thought, you know what? I will just add them here. I've got some Starbucks coffee bag. I've got some tags off of some stuff I bought. I got a sweatshirt, a Carhartt sweatshirt, and some bog boots because I'm going to be going back to doing some lawn stuff, and I needed some new boots for the wet lawns. So I'm going to maybe play around with those. This was some really awesome pink pineapple. Oh my goodness, I got that in Florida. It was delicious. So I've just got like some stuff I want to do, some memory keeping also, but let's just finish the inside of the cover, and then I'm going to sew in my signatures. I won't show that to you on camera because I did do that in my last trash journal. And like I said, I'll list all my playlists down below, but I will show you the papers I chose just to give you ideas. And then that should be good. And then the next time we meet, I'm going to be playing around in the journal. All right, I am just going to use my tacky glue here. And I thought I would just add this little scrap of paper here. This is just some painty paper that I had made from some music paper. I'm going to put 3 signatures in this journal. All right. I cut down the Starbucks coffee bag, which I love the smell of this one. It smells so good with the cinnamon. And we'll just add this here to fill up the white space. Give it a little bit of color. All right, and I will go through and probably add some more tacky glue if the sides start to peel up. We'll let that dry and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so for my signatures, I've got 3 here. And like I said, I'm going to sew them in and then I'll do like a quick flip through and show you. I am not even going to measure. I am just going to line this up and poke my holes through here in through the spine all together. I do that a lot just to eyeball it. I don't really make a template, more so for myself. But usually when I do journals for myself or to sell in my shop, I will make a template for the spine. And then a lot of times I just line the signature up and I will take my awl and I will just eyeball it. And that seems to work better for me because then I can see exactly where it's at and I don't have anything too high or too low, but that is just personal preference. And I've been making them long enough to know that now I can sort of eyeball it. All right, so I'm going to do this off camera and I will be back really quickly. Okay, let's see how it turned out. So I sewed in all 3 signatures here. I think this journal is going to be a lot of fun to work in. We've got the inside covers. We've got a pocket right here. And then we've got this fun little pocket back here. I did go back through and just add some more turbo tacky glue. Okay, so for the signatures, these are kind of fun. I love to use my thrifted papers, my painty papers, everyday trash or recyclables. Music paper, I've mentioned before, is probably one of my favorite papers to use in my own personal journals and the journals that I make to put, in my Etsy shop. And I like the book jackets because they're nice and thick. So I just added this to the journal here, added it to the signature. I just sewed on a fabric pocket here. This is another, unfortunately, a really cool sweatshirt that I found thrifting, and the sleeves were too short. So this was part of the hood. I just really liked it with the leaves and the color. So I just made a pocket. I've got recycled paper that I used when I was doing like painty papers. Here's some music paper that I took some stamp pads and colored up a bit. More paper sack. I've got some music paper that I sprayed with food coloring. I added some junk mail envelopes. I love the big style ones, and I've got a little opening here. I hinged a lot of the pages together using my color masking tape. I love this stuff. I got it on Amazon. I think I got 10 or 12 rolls of all different colors. I used it on my last trash journal and it held up really well. This paint is just from, I think I was blotting off extra paint, so I just added that. More painty papers. This is some paper out of an embroidery book or some sort of needlepoint craft book. So just a bunch of fun papers, more paper sack. I love paper bags to paint on. This was from Maddie. She had, I think in here, I had some, oh, I don't know. I had some sort of papers in here, and I really liked this black and white hearts. So it's just folded over, and I just added the bottom of a paper sack in there just for some structure. So I don't know. I just gonna play around with that. More music paper, paper sack. Then this is the back of the book jacket. Here is another music paper book jacket. As you can see, this is older, so it's got the tape that's already aged, which is kind of cool. Rice box, painty paper. This is more of a cutoff from a paper sack. This is some really nice thick craft paper that I sprayed with food coloring. So I've got a lot of places to paint, to glue, whatever. And then I added another one of those fabric pockets, and I did sew around these. This is the third signature, another book jacket, music paper. Here was some wallpaper I pulled from another journal. I pulled it off of the cover. I just thought I would reuse it. So it already had a pocket with some wallpaper, and I hinged it with this fabric. Paper sack. Here's a pie box. Here's another book jacket, or another music paper book jacket. Some garden paper, painty paper. So this is nice and thick. The pie box, paper sack, wallpaper, pocket, and then there's the back of the music jacket. So lots of fun pages in here to play around with. I love this, the full style. I liked my last one, the shorter, but I do really like full-size pages also. So once again, this is how it looks. I've got all that room in there. That was quite a big spine that I have. I really love the flannel here. And then I've got this closure if I decide that I want to tie it off. And I could always add more beads too. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you some inspiration to seek out things that you already have. Use your scraps, use your trash, use your papers that you have already at home, and maybe this inspires you to do some painting, doodling, whatever your heart desires. All right, guys, I so much appreciate you. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next video. I've got some cool things coming soon. I hope you find some sunshine today. And most of all, I hope you find some time to be creative. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.